This is not the church of Joseph Smith.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. YouTube is now doing another tactic where they're refusing to process a video now. It's not just that they hold it up, they're utterly refusing to process. As I'm forced to go into another tab to bring up YouTube again and upload the same video, and usually by the time it starts processing, the other one magically finishes. Very disturbing trend that YouTube is doing in protecting the church. One of the things that has always got me curious, and since I've been trained as a scientist, I always have to fact check myself, even though I've confirmed it to near 100%. As with Paleo-Hebrew, I'm still not fully convinced, I guess is the closest word to use. I'm still kind of surprised that I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew, that it was a wide open field when I assumed that it was already known. But I always have it in the back of my head, did I really do it? Did I really decipher Paleo-Hebrew? Or did I just create a brand new language? If you're familiar with Klingon, Klingon, if I'm not mistaken, is just an alphabetical language. And they just replaced the alphabetical letters that we have as script, or whatever. I don't know how many letters are in the Klingon alphabet, but they just replaced the script with Klingon characters, and the phonetics are still exactly the same. So they just create their own words for a vocabulary, and so it's just a matter of memorizing the different vocabulary, recognizing the different script. So it's not complicated to do that kind of thing. That's not creating a new language. And you shouldn't be using an alphabetical language if you're going to use a space culture. You need to conform more to Egyptian. Anyway, to actually create a new language is pivotal in human development. It's groundbreaking. People say that the invention of fire was one of the greatest inventions, but creating an alphabet technically was, because that involves communication. And so I'm going over the news, since I still have an hour and a half left before I go running. And I see on ABC4 News Utah, they're asking the question as their title: are people misbehaving due to the pandemic? And then you listen to it and you go, okay, they're not making that question. Instead, they're saying, is it cabin fever that's causing Mormons in Utah to speed on the freeways? You know, it's speculation. It's not news. The news is that people got in car crashes. That's what needs to be reported. You don't turn it into an agenda message about cabin fever during a pandemic. There's no such thing as cabin fever. It's a state of mind. If your state of mind can coexist within a cabin during the winter time or during extended periods due to a crisis or a natural disaster, there is no such thing as cabin fever, because you've conditioned your mind to accept your conditions. And that's what cabin fever really is. It's not an actual mental illness, as mental health care people want to tell you it is, so that they can get money by you coming to pay them, so that they can tell you, hey, here's some drugs the next time you feel anxious locked up in your home, which just addicts you to the drugs they give you, and then you have to keep going back to get more and more, and they're just drug dealers. Just stay away from them. Don't fall for their little traps of, oh, are you depressed during coronavirus? Oh, is it cabin fever? Oh, are you feeling homophobic now? Are you feeling gay? Come to us, we'll cure you of whatever ails you. Stay away from them. They are the piranha in the water, looking for flesh to devour. Just stay away from them. So anyway, that was the one story. And even though lots of comedians are coming out and pointing out how parents now realize that having kids was a mistake, as the kids go wild at home, and it's because we've conditioned the people in control have conditioned our society specifically for this, is so that we get rid of our kids to the school system and force the parents to both work in order to pay for such a lifestyle of privilege to have children. They don't want the poor to have children, and so they purposely design our system to punish the poor for having children. When parents aren't the caregivers of the children don't recognize the authority of the parents, and so they act out. It has nothing to do with coronavirus, being locked up in cabin fever. It's just because the parents have never learned how to be parents, because they've been conditioned by society to give away their kids to others to do the work for them. And then they have another article. Churches hold Easter services online only, and apparently they weren't social distancing, as I see a church group on the thumbnail here, gathered together at their church with an empty audience, of course, but they're all there together on stage. All it takes is for you to come in contact with just one person with coronavirus, and you now have coronavirus. That's it. That's all. None of this, oh, we have to avoid groups of more than 10 or more than 50 or more than 100. People just play us for dumb. All it takes is one. And so, like I keep telling the guys in this apartment, as long as somebody with coronavirus does not come in contact with anybody here and does not enter into our building, we're fine. Anybody's fine as long as nobody comes in contact with somebody with the virus. Nobody's understanding that concept. So, anyway, just thought I'd share the news with you from over the weekend. As I was wanting to catch up on some other stuff. So yeah, I'm struggling to figure out how to get through to Mormons, because we're entering the end here. I did find the sign in the heavens, which indicates something. Again, as it's in the future, don't know. All I know is that it's a sign, because of the involvement of those who I've already identified in conjunction on the specific date. And like I did in the video, it's Thursday, the last day of Passover, but at midnight, which corresponds with scriptures saying midnight, 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 thief in the midnight, thief at night. And so, yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how it'll be fulfilled, but I know something's going to happen on Thursday at midnight, which is also Friday at midnight. Thursdays are also the days when the full prophets meet. I doubt they're doing it anymore, unless they're doing it by phone link, FaceTime, or whatever technology they have to communicate. It's possible they're even just taking time off, saying, okay, well, have fun, enjoy your cabin fever, guys. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what is going to happen in this particular sign instance. I got conference weekend right. I nailed it. And I wish it didn't have to be that way. I didn't want to believe that they actually knew what they were doing, that they were just ignorant people, just blindly doing dumb things during all this. But I'm sorry, Mormons, that's not the case. Your prophets willfully, premeditatively know what they're doing, and they're choosing the wrong. Alrighty, yeah, if I go too long, then I have to wait even longer to find out if YouTube is throttling me, and so, pain in the ass. Just a little extra to add. I was looking for the stellarium picture that I captured for Friday at midnight, or Thursday at midnight, technically Friday. And was scrolling down and came across all the snapshots of Gemini Man, of Mary Elizabeth. She is very photogenic, but just hilarious.